Today, let us start with another module, module number 3. Is it visible, the screen? Hello? Yes, sir. Okay. So, this is the next module, number 3. Again, in this module also, we have two sub topics. The first subtopic of the module 3 is environmental pollution. And the second one is waste management and public health aspects. I think in the first subunit, that is environmental pollution, I need not to give much of explanation because already in your previous classes or previous years, you may studied the various types of environmental pollutions like water pollution, air pollution, noise pollution and all. And also you may studied the impacts of those and how to control all those things. So these are all the some things you studied in your previous years. Maybe first year also, the first year engineering chemistry also. So now you can see the first subheading here, environmental pollution. Under this heading, environmental pollution, we have three things to study here. The first thing is surface and groundwater pollution. Second one is noise pollution. Third one is soil pollution and air pollution. Together it forms the third one. Soil pollution is different, air pollution is different, but here under the same headline, we are going to study both. How to study these three, surface and groundwater pollution? So we have some definite routes to study them, like sources of these the surface and groundwater pollution, impacts of these two, corrective and preventive measures, that is how to control them, how to control the water pollution, how to control the surface water pollution. Next, we have relevant environmental acts, the various rules and regulations framed by the government or any other bodies with respect to the surface and groundwater pollution. We have to study. That is, the title name is Relevant Environmental Acts, Water Pollution Act or Water Act, like this. That is according to the Government of India or Government of Karnataka, etc. So case studies also we need to study with respect to the pollution, that is water pollution, groundwater, surface and groundwater pollution, case studies, noise pollution, case studies, soil pollution and air pollution, case studies. So these are some headlines of the module number 3, environmental pollution. After the completion of these three pollution examples, we have a different concept here, the waste management and public health aspects. Again, under this waste management and public health aspects, we have different headlines, subheadings. The first subheading is biomedical wastes. Now, all the waste management and public health aspects are available in the first year engineering chemistry textbooks. One module will be there. The fourth module is completely consists of these things, the waste management and public health aspects. Biomedical wastes, solid waste, hazardous wastes, E-waste, E means electronic waste, and industrial and municipal sludge. So these are the 5 subheadings of waste management and public health aspects. So altogether constitute the module number 3. Altogether means all these things: environmental pollution, in that surface and groundwater pollution, noise pollution, soil pollution and air pollution. Next, under the waste management and public health aspects, biomedical waste, solid waste, hazardous waste, e-waste, and industrial and municipal sludge. So this is about the syllabus of module number 3. Now let us begin with the environmental pollution, its basic definition. How we got the word environment, from which language we got it, what I mean by that environment, what I mean by pollution, who coined all these terms. So to begin with the environment, you all know that the word environment is a French origin. This is derived from the French language. So the word environment is a French word which means surroundings, neighbor, surrounding, near to us. That is called the environment. It is the sum of the total of all biotic and abiotic components. That means here the whole environmental components are made up of 2. components. They are living components and the non-living components. Living components all we are human beings, animals, plants, etc. Non-living things are rivers, mountains, soil, stone, etc. etc. That is the non-living. So altogether, that is abiotic and biotic components constitute the whole environment. Nothing is there in the environment except these two. You take any of the environment, it consists of two components, biotic and abiotic. The factors that surround the potentially influence an organism, environment is the life support system that includes air, water, land, and many more. These are all some of the life supporting system for the environment. So, environment is the life supporting system of all these things. It may be a water, it may be a air, or it may be land. So, environment is the supporting system. So, this is called the environment meaning. You can see the diagram here. The whole universe is made up of various things here. So all together forms environment. You can see here industries, flights, agricultural lands, that is residential area, various hazardous things here releasing from the industries. So all forms the environment. And now coming to the pollution. So what is pollution? Hello? Hello, all of you listening? Anyone here? Anybody in the class?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What do you mean by pollution? Environmental or environment pollution? Again, the word pollution is not the English, it is from Latin. You know that most of the scientific words, technical words are derived from either Latin or Greek, sometimes French. So this environmental, that is pollution, is originated from Latin word, pollution. This means makes dirty. Pollution is an undesirable change in the physical, chemical, biological characteristics of water or air or land. Any undesirable, not desirable, unwanted changes, undesirable changes in terms of physical changes or in terms of chemical composition or in terms of any biological changes, that change is called by the name pollution. But that change should be undesirable, not desirable change. Desirable change is not called pollution. That is called a requirement. Undesirable change, unwanted changes in the physical status or in the chemical composition or biological reactions or characteristics of water, of air, of soil, or land. That is the meaning of pollution. So the simple meaning of the word pollution is change, undesirable change. Now, let us begin with the first headline, surface and groundwater pollution. Surface and groundwater pollution. First, let us take the surface water. Surface water means what? What are the sources for the surface water? How this surface water gets affected? How to prevent the surface water pollution? How surface water gets polluted? So these are all the questions in our mind when we start the topic surface water pollution. Now let us begin with the surface water. The water present above the earth's surface. That is called the surface water. Similarly, underground water means the water which is beneath the earth's surface, below the earth's surface. That's called underground water. So what are the sources for this surface water? We have four main sources. RRLS. RRLS is river water, rainwater, river water, lake water, and sea water. I repeat this: surface water sources, river rainwater, river water, lake water, and sea water. I think rainwater is the purest form of the water. Why it is called? It dissolves considerable amount of gases and suspended solid impurities from the atmosphere during its downward journey. So, but before coming to its journey, before the journey started, it is called the purest form of the water. It does not contain any mineral, any contaminants, any pollutants. It is rainwater is supposed to supposed to be considered as purest form of water. It does not contain minerals, but when it reaches the earth, when it is coming down to the earth, then it gets polluted because of various gases, various suspended particles, solid impurities. It may get contaminated, but before that, the rainwater is the purest form of water. Next, second source is the river water. Again, the river water, lot of biological that is dissolved minerals, impurities, dissolved gases like carbon dioxide. So various types of dissolved oxygen, various types of things are dissolved in the river water. So it is not the purest form of pure form of the water. It consists of considerable amount of dissolved gases. Example, dissolved oxygen, O2. O2 is there in the water. I think in the first year engineering, in the engineering chemistry, we have one experiment regarding this determination of dissolved oxygen by Winkler method. Similarly, colloidal impurities may be present in the river water. Various minerals, maybe calcium chloride, magnesium sulfate, sodium chloride, various dissolved minerals are available in the river water. At the same time, some biological impurities. The composition of the river water is not constant. The composition of river water may varies. It is not kept constant here, remain constant. Now, third one is lake water. The chemical composition of the lake water is a constant. It contains majorly organic matter, but less amount of dissolved minerals. See the lake water difference, the river water and lake water differences. River water mainly contains dissolved minerals. The percentage of dissolved minerals more in the river water, but the percentage of the dissolved minerals in the lake water is less, but it contains more number of organic matter, death and decay bodies of plants and aquatic animals. That is the organic matter. So organic matter is more in the lake water, dissolved minerals are more in the river water. Coming to the last, fourth type of source, seawater. It is the most impure form of the water, and TDS, total dissolved salts of the water, is more than 35,000. It is highly impure water, seawater, highly impure. The most impure form of the water is seawater. The purest form of the water is rainwater. Why it is most impure? Because of the large number of impurities. It may be colloidal impurities and organic impurities, inorganic impurities, salts, dissolved salts. So almost all the things are there in the inside the water, seawater. That is why the seawater is called most impure form of the water. Next is, you can see the pictures of the sources. The first source is surface water, that is rainwater. This is the rainwater, river water, nadi ನೀರು, ಮಳೆ ನೀರು, lake water, ಸರೋವರದ ನೀರು, ಸಮುದ್ರದ ನೀರು, sea water. See, river, rain, lake and sea water. Now, coming to the second category after the surface water, we have underground water. What are the sources for the underground water? What do you mean by that underground water? As I already said in the beginning of this class, underground water means the water present beneath the surface, below the surface, inside the earth, soil pore spaces and in the fracture of rock formations. That is called underground water. So the water present beneath the earth surface, in soil pore spaces and in the fractures of rock formations. We can see the positions of this underground water here. One is below the water, then is soil pore spaces, and third one is fractures of rock formations. In all these locations, we can have the groundwater. Spring water and well water are forming the underground water, and that is the example for this underground water. You can see the diagram here. Spring water, near Nachilme, Irna Bugge, well water, Bavi Neer. See, these are the two example we have for the underground water system. That is underground water sources. Spring water, this is the spring, and this is the well. You can see the picture clearly here. This is about the sources of underground water. Now, beyond this, if you consider general water pollution, we forget about the underground water and surface water. If we consider overall the water pollution, there are two types of sources. Water pollution comes from point and non-point sources. What do you mean by this point source? What is the meaning of this non-point sources? So the point sources is here. It is with respect to the general water pollution, not exactly for the surface water pollution or underground water pollution. In general, point sources means what? See here, the point sources discharge pollutants at specific locations through drain pipes, ditches, or sewer lines into bodies of surface water. They are coming from the point sources to discharge pollutants at a specific locations. Because point sources are located at a specific places like drain pipes, ditches, sewage, etc., they are fairly easy to identify and monitor and regulate. We can monitor this, we can regulate, we can avoid these point sources because they are located in a specific place. We know where it is. At the same time, we can control it. If we know this, we can control. If we do not know, we cannot control. Since we know the locations, particular specific places, we can avoid the water pollution for the point that is obtained through the water point sources. Similarly, the second one we have the non-point sources. Non-point sources are broad, diffuse areas rather than the points from which pollutants enter bodies, surface water, or air. We cannot have a specific reason, specific locations for these non-point sources. We cannot identify them. We cannot, at the same time, we can control also. We cannot control also. Difficult to control. So difficult and expensive to identify and control discharges from in many diffuse sources. So non-point sources control is very difficult because we don't know where it is. We don't know how it is coming, from where it is coming, in what form it is coming. We cannot identify. That is why we cannot control. It is difficult controlling procedure. So this is about the general water pollution sources. Now, how to prevent this groundwater or both the groundwater and underground water pollution? So groundwater pollution can be prevented like this here. Find substitute for toxic chemicals. So under the groundwater, we have a lot of minerals. Some minerals may be poisonous, toxic in nature. Example, lead, mercury, and arsenic. So these are all some of the minerals which are present, very small percentage, very little percentage. So they are definitely toxic chemicals. We have to find substitute for those metals. This is the first prevention method of groundwater pollution. Secondly, keep toxic chemicals out of the environment. Out of this water environment, we have to keep the toxic chemicals aside. Install monitoring wells near the landfills and underground tanks. Require leak detectors on underground tanks. So we have to detect the leakage of this underground tanks so that we can control the pollution of underground water. Ban hazardous waste disposal in landfills and injection wells. Store harmful liquids in the above ground tanks with a leak detection and collection system. Next is clean up. The second way to control the groundwater pollution, pump to surface, clean and return to aquifer. That is a very expensive method of this cleaning procedure. Inject microorganisms to clean up the contamination. This is a less expensive. Injecting microorganism to clean up the contamination. The microorganisms will take all the contaminants or the pollutants. That is a biological method, somewhat less expensive it is, biological method. Next, third one is pump nanoparticles of inorganic compounds to remove pollutants. We have a lot of nanoparticles like zinc oxide or any other nickel oxide. So silver oxides. So all the nanoparticles will help in removing some of the pollutants. That is a nanotechnology. Using the nanotechnology, we can control this groundwater pollution. So this groundwater pollution almost applicable to the surface water pollution also. There is no much difference between these. Now, coming to the second one, the second heading of this class, noise pollution. What do you mean by this noise pollution? Regarding this case studies of water pollution, I'll explain the case studies in the next class. So time being, I'll directly go to this noise pollution. What is this noise pollution? So this is, we are speaking. Is this noise pollution? No. We are talking in a classroom. I'm doing lecture here or any other things here. Is it noise pollution? No. So pollution is there is some limit for this here. Noise pollution can be defined as unwanted or offensive sounds that unreasonably introduced into our daily activities. Not all the noise are pollutions. Only unwanted or offensive sounds that unreasonably introduced into our daily activities are considered as noise pollution. Sources of noise pollution. It has many sources. Noise pollution has many sources, most of which are associated with urban development. Where there is a urban development, there will be a definite the water is the noise pollution, 100%. It is always associated with the urban development. Road traffic, air traffic, railways, industry, construction, consumer products, and other sources. How the road traffic will cause noise pollution? Road traffic, of all the sources of noise pollution, road traffic is the most prevalent and perhaps the most damaging source of noise pollution. More people are exposed to the noise from motor vehicles, and thus the impact of traffic noise are major factor of human society. And the impact of the road traffic noise on the community depends on the various facts such as road location and design, land use planning measures, building design, and driver behavior. Next is second one, air traffic. How it is considered as a noise pollution, air traffic. Airline travel has since become much more common and widely available nowadays. It resulting in an increased amount of air traffic and thus an increased number of people who are affected by aircraft noise, both as passengers and as members of communities located near airports. The third one is railways. Railways, like road traffic, are a major source of surface transportation, and level of the noise associated with the rail traffic is related to the type of engine or rolling stock used, the speed of the train, and track type and condition. The majority of the noise emitted by the train is produced by engines or interaction of the wheels with the track. Other sources include wearing signals and crossing and visuals and horns. These are all associated with the railways. Now coming to the industry. Next major noise pollutant or the sources for the noise pollution is industry. The four main categories of industrial activity that are product fabrication, product assembly, power generation, processing. All the four categories mainly causes this noise. So noise is generated in all these activities, while people around in an industrial facility and the people within it are both affected by industrial noise, and it is the workers within the plant that is generally bear the brunt of most of it. The people who are living near the industries are mainly affected by the noise pollutions. Now, construction. Construction noise, a major source of noise pollution, is emitted by the construction equipment like industrial equipment. Construction equipment tends to produce more noise in the lower end of the frequency spectrum. Unlike industrial equipment, which emits noise, primarily affect the workers within the facility, tends to be used outdoors and thus affects many other people than the workers at the site. Next, consumer product. Consumer product represent a wide range of noise producing item categories such as recreational, model air. That is example for the recreational is model airplanes, motorcycles, snowmobiles, all-terrain vehicles, video arcades, etc. Hobbies or workshops, example chainsaws, lawn mowers, power saws. Household, example food vendors, vacuum cleaners, washers and dryers, air conditioners and refrigerators. Then music, personal stereos, rock concerts and home stereos. So beyond all these road, air, railways, industry, construction and consumer product, we have some other sources. There are several other sources such as sirens, agricultural noise, barking dogs, military noise, and noise generated by humans themselves. So these are all some of the noise pollution sources. Effects of these noise pollution sources. There are a lot of effects here. You can see various effects here. Noise, induced hearing loss. We may get this very easily. This, if you expose our ears to this, definitely we are going to lose hearing. Non-auditory physiological effects on the sleep and irritability, heartburn and indigestion ulcers, high blood pressure, and possibly heart diseases may cause. So in the right side graph, you can see the health effects attributed to the noise pollution. So this is in percentage here, in percents. Myocardial infractions, 3.66%. Depression, if you expose to this noise pollution, definitely 4.66% of people will go depression. Then similarly, 17% sleep quality, decrease hearing is 15.33%, mental health 10.33%, hypertension 7.66%, nervousness is 41.33%. So nervousness main effect here. Noise pollution main effect is nervous system. Nervousness 41.32%. So these are all some effects here. In the next class, I'm going to explain how to avoid these noise pollutions and other things. In the next